Dear viewer, this is Face2Face Podcast, and my name is Victor Dafris. Now, let me walk you down the memory lane 11 years ago, from 2014 to somewhere around 2018, 2019. Ku Blantyre kunoko kunachitika zinthu zina zake zodabwisa komanso zosangalatsa kwambiri. Ndikufuna ndikukumbuseni, mukumbukira nthawi yake makamakazi bambo, omati ukamayenda mulimbi ka Blantyre, and then you prompted to answer the call of nature. Funa uyimirire pena pake kapa ntengo 2 minutes si mata asira sana bwera ukunjata kapena polisi bwera ukunjata. Mwakumbukire komanso achinyamata amene nthawi imeneyo mumakonda kumwaza maposta mapolomu maposta ama shows ena mwa inu mukuonera apa munamatulisidwa apa maposta amenewo. There was sanity in Blantyre nthawi ina yake. Ndengati mukukumbukira bwinobwino, the mayor of the city of Blantyre during that period was Noel Chalamanda, who is my guest in today's episode. Noel, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Victor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nagomakanga titu mumafuna muzindisusa amene manena za ku Blantyre moja. Did I speak a lie?
I don't know. I don't know. That's from your perspective.
Yeah.
Other people maybe have different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a mix of both. But that's your perspective. And if it's true, I'm happy to hear that.
And I believe it's true. And I believe Malawians are agreeing to whatever it is I'm asserting here. So, Noel, you are often remembered for your approachable and people-centered leadership style as a mayor. How would you describe your philosophy of leadership? And by the way, you are, media friendly. How would you describe your philosophy of a leader?
Well, I don't know if I should call this philosophy, but maybe it is philosophy. But when you're elected or appointed a leader, you are taken from a group of people, from a community, and your task is to serve. So number one, it's serve, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you're a waiter. So you go to the person that needs service. This is what we have on the menu. What would you like to have? Or what would you like to have on the menu, right? So serve, that's the number one thing. Mm-hmm. Number two, stitch. Fix things that are broken. And it's not just about what you think is broken, but objectively, what is broken? What can we do to make it better? If it's not broken, don't fix it. Mm-hmm. But obviously, if it is, it's your task to lead. And it's not just about you fixing it. Mm-hmm. It's about you involving everyone else to fix it. Mm-hmm. So that they feel responsible. The whole project becomes theirs, and it's so easy to execute. Mm-hmm. So I'll say service, stitching things, integrity, very important. Mm-hmm. Very important.
Absolutely.
And we need to be frank about things when we're doing things. We're going to manage this, or it will take us a bit of time to fix this. Mm-hmm. We are in an election period. You've probably read some manifestos. Very beautiful, dreams. No problem with that. You listen to these guys, you're like, wow, this is beautiful. That is beautiful. But the question is, are we honest about what we want to do? Are we honest that we're going to turn these dreams into reality within the period that we're going to have? So honesty is also important. It's part of the package.
Mm-hmm. Before ascending to to the mayoral authority back in the day, were there things that were penning you inside the heart before you ascended to that office?
There were things, and there are still things, and I mean, you look around. It's not just Blantyre; it's the whole country, yes, right?
Yeah.
Just like anyone else who lives in a city, or who's lived in a city, who lived in a city before multi-party democracy, because that's when I came around. I was able to compare the sort of city that I lived in as a child, going to ordinary secondary, primary schools, catching a bus, going to town, going to a playground, walking on a proper street with proper lighting, buses going on time, streets that were clean, markets that were safe, and all of a sudden, everything has disintegrated. You can imagine the pain, right? And it's not just me. There's a whole lot of us.
Yeah.
And people have spoken about the difference between the time before multi-party democracy and the time after multi-party democracy. It became a free-for-all because a majority of us misunderstood the whole concept of democracy. Free-for-all, you can do whatever you want. There was no sense of obligation. There was no sense of responsibility. And that remains the situation. That remains the case even now. That's why there's so much disorder, so much chaos, so much that is undesirable. So yes, to answer your question, I had that painful feeling and I still have it because we haven't fixed anything.
Now, looking back, what initiatives or policies from your office stand out as your proudest achievements?
We had beautiful policies, right? And this is not just about me as a mayor. I was just a leader of a whole group of councillors.
Yeah.
But we did have beautiful policies. But we set off to clean up the city, to put a bit of order in it, to make sure it's clean for everyone, to make sure that it is a livable city. People in this country like to travel outside the country. They love to go to other cities like, let's say, Johannesburg, London, New York, Dubai. They'll take beautiful pictures. They'll post them on whatever platforms. And they will despise where they're coming from. Right? But whose responsibility is it to fix that? It is our responsibility. So this one particular Keep Blantyre Clean and Green campaign was one that I was really most passionate about. And reason is because if we managed to fix things as we had intended to, a lot of other beautiful things were going to flow naturally from that, right? We were on the right path, but maybe we never got where we wanted to get. So I'll tell you, Keep Blantyre Clean and Green was one of the things that I was really passionate about that I wanted us to drive. Going ahead with that, there's also the Red Star campaign.
Yes.
Which I thought it was a way of regenerating our city. Our city is tired. It is run down. So many buildings have outlived their usefulness. They need to come down. Maybe we did it wrong, but everybody agrees our city is archaic. We're living in a Stone Age city in modern times of new technologies. If you go to most of our buildings and had a checklist of things that they must pass, you realize most of them, don't even have fire safety issues, how they dispose their waste, car parking, they don't have all that. They are not worthy of a city in this modern century. And yet, this is part of our city. And we've made it worse with our behaviors like littering, disorderliness. And when I say disorderliness, I'm talking about people not even knowing how to walk on the road, right? Going on wrong sides of the road, not using pavements because somebody is selling them batatas on the pavement.
Yes.
And now they are on the road, squeezing cars, minibuses driving wherever they want to drive, parking wherever they want to park, trucks parking wherever they want to park. We don't even have commuter buses in the cities. What do we have instead? Kabaza. Free for all. And that is our city.
Now, very intelligent, very smart. Your ideologies were revolutionary. This is something that I would say, it's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. This is a general opinion that a lot of people do hold it. But regardless of that, you were still ousted from your mayoral position. How did that feel? How did that look in your eyes? Like, you've brought all these brilliant ideas. We want to keep this city green. We want to rejuvenate the city. We want the city to be beautiful, to be a center of tourist attraction, whatsoever. Still more, you got put it out from your mayoral position. How did that look like?
Well, it's a democracy. People make choices, and that's a choice people made, right? I'm not saying I was the perfect gentleman, no. But at least I had some ideas. I had some initiatives. Maybe I could drive this agenda with the people that I had. But I'll tell you this. When I read feedback on social media, they said, oh, this guy doesn't know politics, right? So maybe it's because I don't know politics. But you tell me, what is politics if I don't know it, right? Maybe that's one question we haven't answered properly. What is politics? Because for me, politics ought to be a service to people. But apparently it is not. So yes, I lost. It didn't feel good, but I'll tell you what, when I lost, I was like, maybe thank God, it's time to go home. I've done my part. Others can, take it up from there. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't find what I was doing to be the right things. But I'm happy to say I did what I could in the circumstances and came out happy. However, I'll carry on to answer your question to say, what did you say? What went wrong?
Not really what went wrong, but how did that look
feel
like? Yes. How did you interpret it? Like, okay, I'm doing all these great things, and people.
So my interpretation obviously was they're not happy with my performance. And remember, it is a college of councillors and members of parliament.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it is these people not liking what I did, not liking my style of leadership. And as to why, they are best placed to answer that.
Okay, so Noel, there are some decisions that are very hard to be taken by leaders occupying those positions, and some are politically costly. If you try to execute the decision, definitely it'll have a political implication. People have a different perspective of government or whosoever is implementing it. Among the policies that you were implementing as a mayor back then, were there some elements of such that you could tell that people are resisting to follow, or that which we are trying to implement simply because there's a lack of support to the policies that we are implementing because the decisions are politically costly? There are instances of such.
Yes, there were. There were lots of those. There were a lot of those. And let me just bring you to the issue of decentralization. Let's begin from there.
Yes.
There's been this concept of decentralization for decades now, and it's just remained a song up to this. Maybe a song without instruments as well. It's a song that has been sung for about 2 decades. We haven't done nothing to implement that. So this is what used to happen, and maybe still happening in real life. You make a decision as a city council. You start to execute it because it's within your mandate. Next thing, there's a call from central government, Capitol Hill. What are you doing? Right? Can you stop that? They're like, we are just executing our mandate. I'll give you an example. You've been you've been to Blantyre market,
Yes,
the flea market?
Yes, I have.
The same thing I was talking about, people using a pavement for selling their merchandise, right? So people did erect, all these shacks to extend the perimeters of the market, and thus proceeded to take over the pavements. People have nowhere to walk. We said we must demolish these because these are illegal structures, and that's within the mandate of a city council. Halfway through the exercise, there's a call. Stop that.
Wow.
It's things like these,
Wow.
and I'll say this with a lot of sadness and passion. It's these silly things like these that drag progress. What does that mean? And who is not yours? All these people belong to the city, and everybody is entitled to live in a city in the most, how should I put it? In a manner that allows others to enjoy the city as well. So if you're going to sell your merchandise on a pavement, where are people going to walk? On the road? How about the cars? That's where the chaos comes in.
Yes, absolutely.
So if some elements of the leadership propagate this kind of behavior, which I know they do, that's very, very sad. And these are the people that lack integrity. These are the people that should not be in office. These are the people that must be fired. Let's do things the right way. Because if I do my part the right way, you do your part the right way, at the end of the day, things will work for everyone. But you can't go out to please a handful. And in Malawi, it's all a question of votes. You get into office, you're thinking about the next election instead of fixing things that are broken. That's a disease that we're suffering. So for me, these elements must be dealt with. People must understand the limits of their power. People must understand what is right and what is an obligation. Because over and above the rights that we have to trade, to carry out business, we have an obligation to do that in accordance with the law. So if this person that is building a shack over a pavement, enjoying his right to trade in a legal manner, in a lawful manner? No. So there are sanctions for it. And then politicians must have the courage to use the law the right way, not to please certain elements, to apply it evenly across the board. And that's the thing that's not happening.
Yeah, so you made mention of the Red Star campaign.
Yes, I did.
And it really remains a memorable example of an ambitious governance initiative. It absolutely remains. In hindsight, what really worked well and what fell short, and what lessons can Malawi's future leaders learn from that campaign?
That campaign is good because all cities go under regeneration. You can't keep a 1918 city, okay, unless you're maintaining it well, right? But you need to maintain it well, keep up the standards, infuse a bit of innovation and everything else so that it becomes livable and it makes relevance to the times that we're living in, right? But I'll tell you, go to Limbe, go to Blantyre, you will find shacks, right? And they're still part of our city, right? We have the laws that, if properly applied, these buildings must be regenerated. Regeneration is not only about bringing them down and bringing up a new one, it's also maintaining even the old ones to the best of standards, right? Now, we have all these that were marked. It wasn't a haphazard act of marking these red stars. Each one of those buildings were visited and were found to be lacking in terms of safety, for example, sewage, even just the structural integrity of the building. Most of those didn't have that, and they still don't have that, right? So it's about engaging the owners of these structures. Say, you know what, your building is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things lacking. Are you able to rebuild it? Or are you able to do something about it? And these people were engaged and they were told there were a few meetings, I still remember, with the city planners and everything else. Then the powerful ones obviously went and got an injunction, right? The injunction was challenged. The judgment never came out to this day.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's several agencies that have a part to play in this. The city planning authorities or the city planners, the engineers, the city fathers themselves, the courts. That has failed. It wasn't only in my time, even before my time. There were also some buildings that were red starred. They never came down. So I'm thinking there is need for more collaboration, more cohesion among government agents. If we're going to walk towards the direction of progress and development, we must work together. We must work together. That includes the courts, the engineers, all people that are involved in every way. They must be involved. And when I say involved, I don't mean meetings and endless meetings for allowances. I mean efficiently involved to execute. We're complaining about, oh no, there isn't enough space. No, there is enough space. If some of these buildings came down and they were redesigned to make sure that, one, they have proper parking either beneath them or at the top, and they have proper access for all people. They have proper safety issues to do with maybe fire, whatever. The world is changing. Everybody's talking about climate change. Make sure that they have been modernized to make relevance in our day, in our modern day. Because if you check, as I said at the beginning, most of them will not pass the test, but we are watching, and they are a disaster waiting to happen.
Now, we're going to talk about the security and order of our cities without talking about the terror that is caused by street-connected children. We are still having the problem, even though the cases might be minimal, but you can still see them, moving around town,
Yes.
begging sometimes, terrorizing people. What's the long-lasting solution to that problem?
Most of these kids have homes where they come from. It means they have parents or at least guardians. The problem is not just the kids, but maybe it goes beyond them. Where are the parents? Are they responsible parents? What are they doing about their children? I'll give you an example. There's one child that used to ask for, arms like that. And I said, okay, what do you want to do with your life? That was years ago. And he said, I want to go back to school. Where do you go to school? He mentioned the school in Dirande. So can you get your teacher to send me his number? I'll speak to them. He did that. And I said, I'm going to pay school fees for this kid. And I did. No, that kid never went to that school.
Wow.
And every time he saw me on the street, I said, why are you here? I paid for your school fees. Okay? He was still on the street. Now he is a man, like an adult, without education, without qualifications to assist him, get a job or run a business. And what does he become now? Nobody knows, right? Parents are there. So who should be punished for the sins of these kids that are begging? Is it just the kids? Should we address the parents as well? And what is the ministry that is responsible for this? And what have they done about these kids? So, there's so many agencies, as I said, that must be involved. But tell you what they're doing is against the law. And if the law was to be applied, these kids should be swept off the streets. Because we are nurturing thieves. We are breeding thieves. We are breeding people that will terrorize the streets, will terrorize the homes. Because they are begging now, give it 10 years, they'll not be begging, they'll be robbing. And even now, they're still robbing people when it's dark, And we are watching this. These are signs of a broken economy. These are signs of broken democracy. Free for all. These are signs of, a people that are not courageous enough to do the right things. Because if the ministry responsible said, no, we're going to stop this, there'll be, some people with all the noise about human rights. But we must remember, human rights go hand in hand with obligations, with responsibilities. Right? So don't be fast or quick to scream, oh, that's abuse of human rights. What about the responsibilities? Right? So I am saying, if these people are taken off the streets in a responsible manner, right? And if it's an offense, they must face it. Or they should be taken to homes, institutions where they should be given some kind of training or some kind of education. But so far, I don't think there is any ministry that is working to alleviate this problem.
And I wanted to ask you that, what sort of legislation needs to be done? Because they're having a chat with our police, especially our Blantyre. We can, sometimes we take away those kids and then put them to Blantyre police. Mawa, human rights groups would come and no, these are kids, release them. Let's talk about the conflict that is there. I don't know whether it's a conflict between the law and whatsoever. What sort of legislation?
When the police take them, it's not like they're just taking them without any basis for it, right?
Yeah.
There is criminal law that they're using, right?
Yes.
And that's why I said, let's be very careful with the noise about human rights. I have studied human rights.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I did for my master's.
Yes.
But what I've noticed is there's so many dodgy organizations that like to call themselves human rights organizations for purposes of funding and and all that. So I am saying, if we love our country, we must understand that whatever human rights we enjoy, they have responsibilities and obligations. So before you scream abuse of human rights, you must also think about the obligations that the parents, these children, the police, and everybody else has. Right? So it's not just about enjoying human rights, it's about enjoying them responsibly. So I would say this noise about abuse or breach of human rights, let's be very careful with it. Because human rights must be enjoyed not to the prejudice of others. So if these kids are on the street prejudicing or terrorizing other people, then that's not enjoyment of human rights. And that must be fixed. And there are laws to fix that. And I am saying, I'll repeat this, we must not shy away from doing the right things, which includes sweeping them off the streets. But we don't have the courage to do that. Again, it goes back to the same issue. And all that.
And surprisingly, when you see, you can even see some politicians driving cars, and then the kids actually have sort of built a rapport with these, with these powerful people in the society, politicians, and then they run through their windows, and then they give them all this money. So, really, I think it's really hard to. Yeah.
Again, my friend, the courage to do what the law says, the courage to do the right thing. If it's wrong, let's call it wrong, and let's fix it. But let's not sugarcoat things. I know there are votes, but how many votes are those? Those are wrong votes. Those are toxic votes.
Yes.
So you get to the office through these votes and to do what? To perpetuate the poverty? No. We're not fixing the problem. We're making it worse. Yeah.
So now let us slightly talk about your political ambitions. I mean,
I have any.
And no, the guy is ambitious, the guy is tenacious. When he makes a decision, the decision is solid. Can't we have this guy, climb up the ladder and then perhaps take up my positions, perhaps, atokupanga contribute to the national development in the political arena. We know you are contributing to the legal fraternity as we speak. Do you have any political ambitions still intact within you?
So, when I lost my bid to become mayor for the second time,
yes,
I was sad, very sad. At the same time, I was grateful and relieved to go home. Okay?
Yes.
To go home away from all this. Why am I saying this? Because there are a lot of people in Malawi that are brilliant, people of integrity, reasonable, people that love the country, would have loved to do so much for the country, But they're like, you know what, I don't want to be involved. They don't want to be involved because of the kind of picture that we have painted as politicians to say, this is what politics does, okay? When you're running for office, people tend to abuse you. I'll be honest about this. Abuse in the sense of things like things like those.
Yes.
For me, I'll call that abuse. Yes, let's be generous. Let's be helpful. It shouldn't come to the levels of abuse. People don't want that. I want to go in there to serve, not to use my personal things to alleviate people's poverty. I'll be very happy to do it if I want to, all right? But I must not feel compelled to do that. That's why people start stealing, because they have to feed 1 million people in their constituency. They have to buy coffins. They have to do this. That's not their job, okay? Their job is to be a leader. A leader is the one that will help these people, become self-sufficient. Will help these people come out of poverty, but not feed them, teach them how to fish,
yes,
right?
Yes.
That's what we are supposed to be doing, but that's not what's happening. So people go like, for example, a guy retires at 60. He knows how the economy works. He's traveled all over the world. He has time to serve, okay? His community. So this little retirement package, it always so campaign. I would rather stay home, enjoy the little that I got whilst I was working. This person doesn't want to do it because of the expectations that come from people. Over and above expectations, these brilliant people, these people that understand how the world works, because let's not just talk about Malawi. We should talk about the world. We are in a global village, okay? So we must understand how the world works. The world around us, like our neighbors, anzatu ku Saudi Arabia anzatu ku America, okay? So we are not left behind. So there are people that understand these things. And there are people that do not understand these things. Okay? Let's be brutal here. Mukalowe ku parliament, mukalowe ku console yonse. Mukacheke, okay? Ma qualifications anthu amene akupanga run ma offices amenachi. Munivese? Ma qualifications ndikunena education qualifications. For education tisaibange underrate.
Yes.
Tisaibange underrate. Ababa ndinene mwamvemve.
Yes, absolutely.
Ifukati mayankhula pena pake kuti anthu ophunzira chanchani. Situnena kuti zinthu zinza anthu ophunzira okha. Koma ababa timvani. Munthu waphunzira akumvetsa kuti dziko limayenda bwanji, economy imayenda bwanji, kumanga nzinda kumayenda bwanji. Well and good. Wina sanaphunzira mokwanira. Okay? We are in a global village, remember. We are developing a country. You will not do that in isolation. You have to do that with anthu ena amaiko ena. Ndengati maphunzira ali ochepa. How do you work with those people? Number one, we're talking about foreign investments. How do you talk with foreign investors? We're talking about internet. Ndiye munthu sunapange school. Ziteka. Right. Now, inene ndikunena kuti check the qualifications of our politicians. Even the law, the requirement kuti ukhale member of parliament ndi chati. Number one, ukhale ndi zaka zokwanira is it 21 or 25 I can't remember now. Zaka zokwanira usakhale kuti uli unapangapo misala kaja uli ndi misala chanchani zazing'ono zimenezo. Usakhale ndi record yokuti unabapo chanchani unamangidwa ayi. Kenako ukhale kuti umatha kumva ndi kuyankhula Chingerezi. Manimvesera? Kumva ndi kuyankhula Chingerezi. Now pamene paja palibe test yokuti amathadi kuyankhula Chingerezi kapena amamvadi kuyankhula Chingerezi. Sindikunena kuti kuyankhula Chingerezi kuli very very important kumoyo wa munthu, koma kuli very very important to help you communicate with others in this global village, to help you to understand how the world works. At least basic communication ya proper English. Okay? Now, so says to my qualifications it means anybody atakubwera kwana kuti ndimata English na nati kusoma ka tested ndimata kuyankhula English ndimata kumva English chimene umachita umangopanga swear affidavit ku umathazi major. Nobody tests you. Yabwera nthawi ya ntchito cheni ku parliament malamulo athu alembedwa munjani si Chingerezi and Chingerezi chake chija njoti nchachikulu so siya masewera and you expect this person to read the proposed amendments to the law and understand. So do you expect that kind of member of parliament to change the law in a manner that will help the people?
I doubt.
Come, these are the people. These are the people. Same thing with my councillors. Exposure. Let's not underrate it. Experience. You can't learn that in class. People travel, people see things. Some people have never traveled beyond Malawi. Mwina no makhala nthawi yabwino kuti akapeza udindo uja nkupanga travel. At least mukapanga travel, learn and come and do
some things here.
If you are going there, you can't even speak with anyone, and how are you going to learn? So let's not underrate the element of education. Personally, I think the qualifications for members of parliament, but councillors, the amusi ujo. They reflect a kind of society that we are. Our standards are musi kwambiri. Ababa so tisankhule mopshatira, our standards are musi. Tiyambe kupanga fix pamene papa, so that we have people that are really qualified to do the work that we are expecting them to do. Because short of that, forget it. Bwezi tu mabanki tu ndi akupanga chimozi tu. Bwezi ma general manager ama private company tukungotula so chimozi. No, they don't do that because they know we are expecting these results. Ma KPIs okay, things that we expect you to deliver in the first 6 months. Ma company and people work. Office abo. Many people don't work. Kungobwera kuvula jacket wika pampando kumapita kupanga personal business. My directors ama company ama agencies ambirabo no KPIs. Chifukwa chani sachosedwa imavuta kufusira kuma samachosedwa. Nobody cares. So we must be strong enough to say zachibwana izizi tuusia. Office ya director wa planning ikale office uri muntu understands planning and he will work and his terms are these ones. You don't satisfy this, get out. Abwera anzano. Ali panthu ambiri mbira pita kusukulu akusowa ntchito. Koma yet ena analowa sakugwira ntchito angoyang'anidwa. Parliament chimozi. If you can't really understand the law, legislation, then it's not for you to do this. Get somebody who's going to do this. Councillor, same thing. If you don't have these qualifications, proper qualifications, to be a city father means you must understand how a city works. Okay? Kuma basi tizo kama za makabaza every year. Za makabaza za chimanga njala every year. No, our standards are too low. It's because even the standards of who can be this tinazika musi ujo. And I will say this, tinazika musi ujo, let's have the courage to say, ababa didnala kuisa, tenti kweze ma standards. We want better things. We're not saying, ena wandopanda nchito, kumanena kuti ntchito ina iliyonse imakhala ndi munthu wake. Ine singangonyamukalira kuti lero ndikamba kupanga ya upasta. No, I don't have the qualifications. I shouldn't do that. Singapange zimenezo. So why are we doing that with very important offices of service? Yet, tukuziwa kuti malamulo odi amasinthidwa parliament komweko, mwina it will be difficult to change. Koma this must be understood by all of us that we are doing ourselves injustice.
Absolutely. Now, Noel, based on your experience, how should local government and city leadership fit into Malawi's broader national development agenda?
You know, cities are supposed to be engines of development for every country.
Yes.
Okay? Panopobwezi tumapanga zokuti we should be competing. Okay? Blantyre, what have you done this year? What are your plans this year? Lilongwe, same thing. Because if Blantyre is able to do that, Zomba is able to do that, you know, all cities and councils are able to do that. Ambitious projects and plans, and you getting them implemented. That's how a country rises. Okay? Now, there's this whole thing about decentralization, which is also supposed to propel growth. I have issues with it. As I've said at the beginning, so far it's just being a song, okay? So I understand why is it just a song. Even central government has maganiza so mwatawata apase responsibility yopanga disperse or gwisa ntchito 10 billion kwacha. Aigwirisadi ntchito kapena kukhala phwando. Because even the people to whom we are decentralizing the power do not have the capacity to manage things. Ngati mukulephera kupanga manage 100 million kwacha as a city council. Munaona kunatuka ma reports kuti zabedwa ndrama aina kubwenza.
Yes.
You can't manage 100 million kwacha. So how do we give you more power? How do we decentralize to give you power? Again, for me, it goes to the question of qualifications. Mukacheke ma qualifications, ama directors, ma CEOs, ama city councils, are they the right persons? Mudantenga CEO wa city council, kuti mukampase ngati press corporation, akaiendesa. A city council is ought to be bigger than a press corporation.
Yes. Kuma kuntenge kumpirisa
sizikateka. My managers aku city council mukasiye ku Standard Bank. So again, it's a question of qualifications. We don't have the qualifications. Why? Why are we setting our standards low? So, although to cities or the country they can develop together using decentralization system, even decentralization in Yovuda so ntchito because of the standards we have set for ourselves in terms of qualifications. My office Oceana are very, very crucial to development of cities and development of the country. So we must really be able to say, for CEO or city council, so are these qualifications. For director, we need these qualifications. I know I'm going to apply. Because maybe I'm going to disease. Sorry, thank you. So maybe mabezati tukulemba for position imeti mafuna qualifications ena tukutenga fifth choice for first, second, third and fourth asia. The package is not even good. So the package must be good to attract the best of talents. Yeah? Then central government should be able to say, we have these geniuses there, we have these smart Malawians, we have these passionate Malawians who know what they're doing. You know, and they'll serve with integrity, with a good package, things will happen. So that starts with the cities. If the cities rise, it's a whole country that's rising. So it means government, central government, ipanga focus on, national issues rather than city issues, rather than local issues. So I think these two entities could work together like that. As we sit here today, I think central government, my local governments may not even don't even have the capacity to manage things the way they must be managed. But yet again, that shouldn't be Chole Pereza. But then we need to rethink of how we can redesign this whole thing because that must be done.
Yes. So Noel, when you take a look at the current crop of leaders, both those that are still in office and those that are aspiring to occupy, different, governmental positions, do you see the type of leaders that are courageous to make unpopular decisions. For instance, taking away street vendors, bringing sanity to the streets, making sure that minibuses are following order, in terms of carrying capacity, driving standards. Do you see anthu aluntha lotere kapena anthu olimba mtima motere kuti ifeyo mufune msafune, this is the right way to go about it?
Some have been in office and others are aspiring to be for the first time.
Yes.
So I can only speak about those that have been. From my perspective, from my assessment, those that have been haven't had that courage. Are they going to have that courage in future?
Mm-hmm.
Why should they act differently? What has changed? So for me, I don't know if there is anything that has significantly changed in those that have tried to convince me that they may do the right things and they may have the courage or the boldness to make unpopular decisions. Because, good decisions, honestly, are not necessarily the popular ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're about to wind up our chat today in this episode of Face2Face Podcast. Let us touch a little bit on rights and social issues. Malawi has got ongoing debates about human rights, including sensitive topics such as, the LGBTQ rights. As a lawyer and a former, civic leader, what's your stance on this issue?
That's a bit too generic, the question. Am I in favor of LGBTQ rights?
If you may wish to take it from that angle.
Okay, let me answer it this way. Our laws, the first laws that we had in this country, the penal code and everything else, even before the constitution.
Yes.
They came, they were given to us by the British, who used to be our colonizers, okay?
Yes.
And same-sex marriage was one of them. It remains our law to this date. It hasn't been changed yet, right? Then there's been all this campaign about recognition of LGBTQ rights.
Yes.
Obviously, it's coming from the West, right? It's not coming from within. I don't know if it's coming from within, but as far as I'm concerned, it's come from the West, influencing our people to recognize these rights. Now, my question is, what has changed? They give us that law. Maybe we appreciated it. It made sense to us. Maybe it doesn't make any sense to them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But what has changed? What has changed to make it a right? I don't see that. Right? Number one. Number two, even if you go back to the West, is this across the board? Maybe not. And it is not across the board. That's why even in the West, there is still noise about, can you recognize these rights? Can you recognize these rights? Okay? But if you ask me, I'm not bothered what you're going to do about your sexuality. Okay? That's your personal business, none of my business. But it becomes my business if you're going to force it on me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because I will not force my sexuality on you, and I don't expect you to force it on me. So if you think it's the right thing for you, well and good. That's you. Keep it to yourself. Don't force it on me. So what I personally don't see as a good thing is this noise of trying to impose it upon others. If you want to practice it, and if you think you are allowed by the law, go ahead. But keep it to yourself. Don't impose it on other people. They have their own choices to make. That's what I would say.
Malawians on the 16th of September 2025 are going to the polls. They're going to elect the president, the members of parliament, ward councillors. Speak to the voter that is watching this podcast at this particular time. Any message that you'd love to convey to the voters?
I don't want to campaign for anyone. But what I would say seriously about us Malawians.
Yes.
I've found it very, very sad that politicians have exploited a majority of our people. They have exploited their state of poverty and their lack of information and knowledge, right? And that is a majority of our people. A majority of our people are poor. A majority of our people are not informed about how the world works. A majority of them don't have a good education to understand what is the right thing in the modern economy. And our politicians have exploited that. How? By these handouts, empty promises. I give you food, I give you chitenje, I give you cash. So you vote for me. Some would try to give them their promises as per the manifestos, whether realistic or not. But as for me, I would encourage every Malawian to really, really look at the characters that are talking to you. Most of them, you have seen them before, you know them, and you know what they have done and what they have failed to do. You must really be convinced why you should vote for them, not because of what they have given you or what they have promised to give you, but look at their manifestos to begin with. Whether realistic or not, that's a different story. But you should be convinced by what they are promising to deliver to Malawi. And it's up to you to see, is this realistic? Or is it one of those same old lies we've heard before? Right? So look at the integrity of the person, the character of the person, what you know about them, and what they are telling you. Forget about what they're giving you.
So, Noel, I want you to be as honest as you can to Malawians and, of course, the people that love you as a leader, people that have ever tested your leadership style. Be frank and honest. Do you really, or don't you have any political ambitions, or what's your future like in politics?
So, Victor, my honest answer, I keep polishing my boots. I haven't packed them yet. I think there's a very good chance that I'll come back to issues of leadership. I'm not calling it political leadership, but I want to come back into leadership if certain things are checked. I need to check a few boxes. Number one, if my coming back will entail really giving service to people, like big service. I'm not talking about small service, like huge service that will change people's lives. Number one. Number two, I will want to come back and work with people that have a reform mentality, seriously reform mentality. Malawi needs to be overhauled. And I would like to be part of that team that is going to overhaul Malawi. When I say overhaul, I'm talking about infrastructure. I'm talking about food. I'm talking about tourism. I'm talking about making Malawi the destination to go to in Africa. I want to be part of that dream team that is just going to make Malawi a totally different Malawi. And obviously, the number three thing is I'll need to be ready with my family and my law career. Say, okay, have I done enough here? Am I safe with my family and my law career? Yes. But these three things, once checked, yes, I'll get my boots back on.
Noel Chalamanda, former mayor of the city of Blantyre, it's been a pleasure hosting you in the podcast today, Face2Face Podcast, in this particular episode. Thank you very much for coming through.
Really appreciate. Thank you very much.
Dear viewer, that concludes today's episode of Face2Face Podcast. My name is Victor Dafres. Please make sure that you subscribe, or I should say you hit that subscribe button if you're watching this video on YouTube. And if you're watching us on Facebook, please make sure that you like our Facebook page and share the video. From us, bye-bye.